I have to talk to you about Shia LaBeouf because you've talked about it. And,
I do. Yeah,
and one thing that I'm most interested in about it is just like, did you know he was a star?
Yeah. Well, he knew he was a star. So
Wow.
everyone else knew that he was a star.
Well, we're talking about a guy who was like, 15, thinking he's a star.
I met him when he was like 12.
Okay.
Right?
And he thought
and I
he
was
a star.
14. Well, he had to be to survive.
Right.
So the story goes that like his father was a clown in the circus that raised chickens, and his mom was sort of also a part of this like bohemian Venice kind of thing. And come to find out, she was actually being sexually assaulted, and they lived in a strange condo complex. And he ended up really having to see a lot at a very, very young age. And the father was in and out of rehab, and he was actually doing community service as his guardian, which I was not aware of, by the way, which I would not have been okay with. I don't think that was good on our producers to like basically allow him to be on set when he had, a violent criminal background.
Right.
I was 16, and his father was not the friendliest guy.
Yeah.
So basically, Shia was, had a very tumultuous childhood ongoing.
Yep.
And because of that, it's been said that he called at 8 years old, went into a phone book, looked up agencies, probably as soon as he could read, and called up his manager that stayed his manager probably to this day. Crosby is his last name, I think. And he was extremely motivated from a young age.
Yeah.
And it was because he needed to get out of his situation.
Wow.
So there was, and that's what I'm trying to say is like, he's a unique situation in that most kids that are coming from low income situations don't look like Shia. So they don't necessarily get the screen time that he was able to get.
Yes.
And they have to go through, for everything that you see, every kid that you see successful, there's thousands of them that are on the fringe of this industry that are being either, put through different hoops that are sort of inappropriate with promises of, doing different things. And like, for example, like non-union, on location movies. I got a call from a mom who said that her daughter was put in a very unsafe situation. Her daughter's like 6 years old or something like that, maybe a little younger. And now because that actor chose to go method and threaten her daughter for hours, even when she was off screen and could have been in a tennis ball eye line, he cursed at her, threatened her by knife, had her strapped to a chair, called her the C word, and
oh my goodness,
terrified this child. And the mom was like, my child can't sleep without me, and she won't take a bath. She has to have the light on anywhere. She's afraid of the dark. And she was like, what can I do? And I was like, well, you allowed this to happen, and I know that that's going to hurt you, but I need to tell you the truth.
Wow.
You allowed this to happen. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. This is the truth.
Yeah.
Because this is what you really want to hear. What you really want to hear is that you're going to take accountability as a parent, and now you're going to get your child what she needs to survive and get better from this.
Yes.
And so I gave her the tough love, and then I was like, but I know that you care because you're having this conversation with someone like me. Mm-hmm. It's when the stage parents stay blissfully ignorant and just, I don't know, allow themselves to be groomed. I mean, and like you said, how is my experience affecting the way that I'm parenting? Like I said, I'm angry. My husband's angry. No one's getting past whatever we can control. We are a tight knit family. Yeah. And that is what I've seen displayed in the most positive outcomes for kids. Whether their parent was called stage mom in a bad way because they weren't manipulable or whatever you want to call it, malleable, they weren't corruptible.
Yeah.
Like that parent was actually the best kind of parent that that kid could have. So I do think that I would never really put my kids in the arts in a commodified sense, but I take my girls to Nutcracker every year, and I really enjoy, just going to the arts with them and exposing them to Broadway. And I love Austin, by the way. Like I really would love for you to come visit.
Love to come visit.
And meet your wife and your baby and stuff. And like, I've
got two.
You've got two
babies.
You do?
Yeah, I got a 4-month-old and a 2.5-year-old.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. No. It's
How did I not know that?
That's okay. It's They look exactly the same.
They look very similar.
The
One's
same.
small, one's a little bit bigger.
Yeah, they look exactly the
You
same.
have 2 children. Are you tired?
Little bit.
Because when you have multiple kids, you're fucking tired all the time.
I know. Oh my
Single
goodness.
kids, I'm always like, you got this. Like, calm the fuck down. We
Like
got
my
this.
son was crying in his room last night and I came up and sometimes I sleep in the room with him.
Uh-huh.
And I picked him up and he was and I was hugging him and I go to put him back. He's like, no, daddy, sleep.
Yeah.
And so he's asking me to sleep in the room.
Yeah.
And of course I just give in.
Of course.
And I go and get my pillow. And
This is your life now, Luke.
I know.
Good luck.
Secretly I love it.
Yeah.
Like I love that he wants me to sleep there. It's so nice.
Yeah.
But just in regards to there's a few things I want to say, but
Yeah, go
just
for
in
it.
regards to the Shire thing about the there's something about being so poor that you have to get it done. You know, about where he was at in his life, where he made the call and you knew he was going to be a star. And you said, what you said was like, he knew he had to be. Like he had to be in order to get out of his situation. And I think there is nothing, and this is what's so important, I think, for a lot of people to get out there. There is nothing will make you a better artist or make you more productive than being hungry. It's so, like being poor is the best teacher. It is like, wow, this sucks. I have to get out of it. I have to get better. I have to get good quick. It's like you see it with rappers. You see like early Jay-Z and then now Jay-Z. And the difference is a couple $1 billion. And it's not good now. Like, but it was so good.
He knew that though, because I love like conscious hip hop and I love the good stuff. I don't really love anything these days. It's very hard to fucking stomach. But he said that he was like, I'm done. Like after the
Right.
Blueprint, he was like, I'm done. Auto-tune.
He should have been done.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I guess he tried to do Tidal and then like he tries to come back now and then, but
Yeah.
but nothing. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it's just so interesting that really like a certain desperation is actually really helpful for an artist. I mean, I did 10 years here without booking like nothing but a couple of co-stars. And so it was
10
like
years?
10 years without like any sign of like, I knew that I was good because I went to the Beverly Hills Playhouse.
Shut the fuck up.
I seriously knew that I was good because people would tell me that I was good. And I was like, I know that I'm good because I look around and I'm like, that person's good. I think I'm even better than them. And you kind of gauge where you're at in the industry and you go to auditions and they're like, this is really, you're really good, but you wouldn't get the role. And then like after 10 years, something comes through that's perfect for you. Like that was Sabrina for me. And I'm like, oh, I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Did it click in for you when you got the audition where you're like, this is going to be mine? Or
No, I didn't. As soon as I saw it, I was like, this isn't for me. And then I went home and learned it. But that's what I automatically do every time I see a new audition. I'm like, this isn't for me. I shouldn't do this.
Yeah,
I'm going to write and tell them I'm not going to do it. And then I go to write it and I don't write it. And then I look at it again. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I can do this. And then I went and I messed up. I nailed the first audition. They gave me a call back later that afternoon and I messed it up. I couldn't say the first line. Couldn't get it out. And then eventually I got it out. And I was like, I messed that up. I wanted to
you were in
walk
your
out
head or something?
Yeah, I just wanted to. It was a casting director that I hadn't seen in years who wouldn't give me an audition, and he gave me one, and this was it. And I was like, I just messed up my relationship with him again. He's not going to see me for another 5 years.
Oh no.
And so I left wanting to punch a wall. I really did think about punching a wall.
What is it with you actors?
and punching walls?
And punching walls.
It's actually white guys named Kyle particularly love to punch drywall.
and Luke
It's a thing.
and Mark and
Mark and Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Any of the Gospels. We love to punch walls. But anyway,
and you do this thing when you punch, you go, oh, and then you punch it, and then you punch it, and then you're like, my hand, and then you grab it, and you're like, no, it's fine.
Get away from me. Yeah, that's exactly what we're like.
Yeah.
You've just nailed my personality down. Punching
I know,
drywall.
Luke, in and
Punching
out.
drywall.
But you didn't, which says a lot about you. You didn't punch.
Yeah, I held back, and then I got it. But it was literally 10 years of me being without hope. The only hope was like in here, kind of. It was like I know that I can do it.
Okay.
And then you get it, and that's a really special. It's a really special thing to be that desperate, and to be that hungry for that long.
It is, man.
Yeah.
And when did you meet your wife and all that?
Not long after I shot Sabrina. It's some funny how when it rains, it pours.
Yeah.
I got that TV show, then I booked another TV show. I met her, and she grew up on the same street as me in Sydney. We met here via her best friend. I used to teach a fitness class called Training Mate, and her best friend came, and I became friends with her. I added her on Instagram. Her best friend posted a picture of my future wife. I was like, who the fuck is that? You have to introduce me. They introduced me. I went on this date, even know she was Australian, let alone she grew up on the same street as me. Aww. And then so we met here and we knew. It was like, we need to have babies.
We need to procreate as soon as possible.
Procreate as soon as possible.
I love that. I know that feeling.
Yeah.
It's hard to get to, especially when you are sort of like a working actor or you're trying to figure shit out. Mm-hmm. It's not a wealthy lifestyle.
No.
Unless you become a TikTok star.
Right. Well, it's also a commodity to be single in this industry because people like the idea that they could sleep with you.
Yeah.
Producers like that idea.
Really? It's Producers?
Totally. Casting directors and, I'm not saying all of them. I'm just saying like there's a few of them who have always been like flirted with you.
Yeah,
and
I guess you're right.
Now, when they find out that you're not attainable, is like, cut that off.
Or the ones that don't care that you're not attainable are super sleazy.
Right.
Super sleazy.
That's
a gross thing.
Have you felt that?
Yeah, oh, definitely. Thanks so much for checking out this clip for the Vulnerable Podcast. For the full episode, go ahead and check out my YouTube channel. That link is in the description. Thanks again.